What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros live afternoon show. And once again, we have some fun things to talk about. And I say fun, the markets are dipping once again. However, if you've been watching the channel over the last couple of weeks, you're probably not surprised because we've been talking about this bigger push down towards 61 to 60K. Where will we reverse, though? Is that lowest we go? Is there a chance we go even lower? We're going to talk about why that is. There's a couple of reasons that Bitcoin continues to fall to the downside. However, there's also reasons why a big rally should be coming sooner than you think. But also the biggest story of the day, we got to talk about the rumors are starting to circulate. First came the Bitcoin ETF and the people went crazy. Now we're close, probably days away from Ethereum's ETF going live, and we're already talking about the next one, Solana, coming your way 2024. Stick around for the entire episode. We're the Investing Bros. Let's roll that intro. All right, Tshroom, I'm going to start off. How are you doing today, my friend?
Tim, I'm doing better than I deserve, my man.
I'm glad. I'm very glad. That intro music, if you enjoy the intro song, go ahead and leave a like. I saw another comment that cracked me up. You guys have been leaving some great ones recently. I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been CBD Suddy. Don't quote me on that. He's been a longtime listener, but he said, I love this intro music. I play it in my head every time I go into the room and stare at my daughter's boyfriend. I was like, hey, that if that's what you guys need to use, if you need to use our intro music for intense eye staring at potential threats to your livelihood, then you guys go right ahead. Like I said, smash the like, hit subscribe just because you like the intro. We're gonna have some content coming your way though. Got some big crypto things to talk about. Before we do, Tshroom, anything you want to say to the people before we dive into the bolts and the crannies?
Yeah, hodl on, baby. Just stick to this simple meme. Buy and hold crypto if you're low IQ. Buy and hold crypto if you're high IQ. And if you're mid IQ, you might get caught thinking about this. Own a diversified portfolio of stocks, bonds, gold, and crypto. Might have to be careful with that one, Tim. Let's go ahead and get into the crypto.
Yeah, first we do have a super chat from Crypto Sec Guy. Now I want you guys to know this is a family show. Tshroom and I are men of faith. I thought Crypto Sec Guy was as well, but here he is, a dad of I think like 3 or 4 coming in here. Can we get some TA on the Haktua girl? No,
I've not seen
we're not
this.
going to get TA. It's a super chat in chat.
Yeah, but what is Haktua? I don't get it.
Good. We're not going to answer the question. You did not come to the Investing Bros to find out about Haktua.
I genuinely don't know.
There are a lot of other degenerate channels who can tell you a lot more about what that is. The fact that I even know a little bit shames me.
I'm worried.
You should be. Please,
we're gonna have to talk about this.
Yes. All right. Let's go into the bubbles and take a look here. It's a mixed day. We got some big red ones in here. Zero continues to bleed after its launch into the top 100. Once again, if there's things that come to light here that are interesting, we'll give more answers. I'll tell you right now, our members who are in Discord, you guys can definitely hit up good old Crux. He'll tell you everything you need to know about Zero. What I'll tell you in a nutshell is it's not really that important at the moment. WIF is also having, if we go back to my screen, a big bloody day as well, down 10.5%, joined by some of its cohorts like Bonk. Actually, Pepe's up, so one of its cohorts actually having a nice green day. Aside from a couple of those big ones, Tau as well, it's mostly a little bit of a mixture here. We do have some bigger red ones. We have some green as well. Kind of the market's continuing to settle in. They don't know what they want to do. Let's take a look at the top 10. I did have my Jasmine still up from this morning. Let's take a look at what the top 10 are doing. I'm going to make sure, let's refresh and make sure it's completely up to date. Bitcoin, back up over 64. We were down there below there for a while. It's back up, still down 1.4% on the day, however. Ethereum back up to pretty much where it was yesterday afternoon, right? It's just down 0.19% itself. BNB's down 1%. Solana 1.5%. We'll talk more about that one here. XRP down 1.5%. Doge barely down. Toncoin barely down. Cardano down 2.88%. AVAX, it just updated. Things are continuing to update here. Barely down for AVAX. Gosh, why are things just jumping around all over the place on me? Oh, would you look at this? This is something worth talking about. AVAX and Sheep keep going back and forth here, change in place between number 11 and 12 over the last little bit. So keep an eye on that race. Oh, I didn't realize my face was blocking Sheep. Keep an eye on the race here for number 11, wrestling to be just outside of the top 10. Let's start off like we always do. Let's talk about Bitcoin. You might be wondering, hey, what were some of the things that led to the rally yesterday that kind of let people believe that we were going to have some bullishness? And then why are we selling off this morning, coming to the lowest price we've seen on Bitcoin since it's way back, guys. It was just a month ago, May 15th. But it does feel, I will admit, doing a daily show, May 15th does feel like a long time ago that we were discussing the rallies heading back up to 72K. We're back down to those same levels at the moment. Is this the bottom? Probably not, guys. Probably not the bottom. We talked about the support level here on 64.4. I told you guys after hitting it, I did not like how that kind of came to play. I still believe there's a long-term play down here towards 61,600. There's a plethora of reasons, and let's kind of dive into that. I think a lot of people might have heard some of these before, but especially for those of you maybe just finding us for the first time today, let's talk about why 61,000 500, 600, 700 area is something to keep an eye on. Reason number one, Bitcoin currently on the short time frame from the last touch of 72,000 is in a descending channel. That's where we're setting lower highs of resistance and lower lows of support. We still have a trend that could send us down to this level. That's not the only reason, but that's reason number one. Second reason, and you guys can see on my chart right now, is because if you were to zoom out, let's go to the daily chart for a second. We are in a longer time frame, in the last couple of months, ascending triangle formation. These are very, very bullish, could send the price over $100,000 once we break out above 72K. However, the problem is on the shorter time frame, we haven't come down to get our third touch of this rising support level. In past shows, I've talked a lot about the history of Bitcoin's price around having events when it comes to ascending triangles. Really quickly, you're going to see one has existed pretty much right before or right during every single halving event. So this gives it not only some short-term bullishness, but historical precedence for, hey guys, we might be falling right now, but the long-term future still extremely bright with up and to the right movements in the price action. But that's only reason number two. Let's come back and let's take some more looks at what is happening. Got to go over here and take a look at our LuxAlgo indicators here as well. And you're going to see multiple time frames, but I'm going to include all of them just into one. Right now, we have a very strong level of support from a take profit on LuxAlgo. We also have a extremely strong order block right here. That's what this indicator is, signaling that there's a lot of bears. You see the red bar right here? A lot of bears who would be selling their shorts, who would be exhausted, who no longer want to be in their active trades. There are some bulls that will be there, but way more bears will get out of their trades, making this an extremely strong level of support. Also, when I take a look at my oscillators, while we are overextended, at the moment, we still have further to go. The RSI is only sitting at 36. The MACD is continuing to pick up steam on its way to the downside. And even though we're overextended on the LuxAlgo oscillator, the money flow is still negative. We had a green reversal, but we still have negative momentum on our oscillator as well. To mark the bottom, we will need to see this money flow start to curve to the upside. We'll need to see a green order of confirmation coming in on our oscillator strength as well. So watch for that before we feel comfortable about a reversal in price. So those are more reasons why, again, the dip's not over. 61 still looking good. But let's take a look at the very last one. And it comes our way via High Block Capital. Now, I was looking at ETH earlier. I was on with Paul Barron. So forgive me for a second, guys. Got to refresh the page and hopefully it doesn't freak out on us again. Anyone who might have had a seizure over, I think, yesterday's morning video, I deeply apologize. It freaked out on me, and I hated it just as much as you guys did. All right, we're looking at Bitcoin liquidations. We got a hefty amount coming in here, around 62,700. But as I've told the channel several times, rarely do you fill the liquidations at that level and not go any lower. In reality, I'm seeing these ones, the faint green ones, being the much more realistic expectation for bouncing. Guess what that is? 61,003, 61,004, rough area. These are levels where if we drop that far, we will be liquidating more short-term holding, long levels of Bitcoin holders. This is a lot of times a very popular strategy by more experienced traders and whale investors to say, you know what? As long as we see heavy liquidity down below us, we have incentive to push price even further to the downside so we can buy whatever the asset is on discount. In this case, we're talking about Bitcoin. You'll notice there is still some interesting liquidity down at 55,000. I do not believe we have to go that far, but I'm not ruling it out either. And this gets us into the next part of the conversation I wanted to have with you guys. Why did we have a small rally yesterday? Why did we fall back down pretty dramatically today? And why is there an outside chance you might be seeing different people talking about price going even lower? And I see someone in chat says German government dumping Bitcoin. We're going to get there. That's actually not the main reason why I'm bearish at the moment, even though we're going to cover that story here as well. And I'll give you my take. Before we get there, I wanted to cover this story. This was brought to my attention by somebody in our trading group. Who brought it to my attention? If you're in chat, shout it out. But I wanted to bring this story to you guys because this is a reason for bearishness right now for about another week and some change. Starting off with today's 1.96. I'm a little dyslexic, I guess, today. $1.96 billion expiry today. This is something that is very important in case you're wondering what it was. Today's expiring Bitcoin options have a notional value of $1.27 billion. We're talking about Bitcoin. 19,712 expiring contracts have a put-to-call ratio of 0.46 and a maximum pain point of 66,500. Guess what, guys? Last night, why did we rally? Why did we have such a good push yesterday? Well, where was that pain point that we knew we had to get at least close to back the other day? Oh, would you look at that? Oh, would you look at that? 66,500. Where did we reject yesterday, Tshroom? Right at 66,500. Why did we do that? In case anyone's wondering, Tim, this is a cool story. Why are you bringing this up? A lot of times when you get close to options expiry, not always will price go exactly right to it, but the traders like to make things interesting more often than not. And in this case, going back to my chart, because we had an option expiry today going out at 66,500, but we were below it, the traders found a good reason, the long-term holders found a good reason. Hey, let's make things interesting. Let's make the bears sweat a little bit. Let's rally price back up to that level. Then, of course, we would drop back down. And then this morning, when that options expiry hit, that caused us to drop below 64,400, which had been some strong support, and hit new lows for this downside down at 63,300. All right. Now, that explains today's options expiry, but why am I talking about potentially price continuing to drop? I believe there's a good chance that we will continue to drop probably for about another week. And there's an outside chance, even though I don't think it's going to happen, I'm open to the possibility of potentially a move closer to 60 to 55,000. The reason why is because next week, the last Friday of the month, we will have a major options expiry where the max pain point is not at 66,000. It's actually all the way down at 55,000. Now, remember, the same rule applies what I just explained to you. If today or yesterday we were below the option expiry and this caused some drama to pull price back to it only to fail and fall back down and lose a bunch of money, doesn't it make sense? Or I'm really not needing to ask you. I'm telling you the reason why price will still be a little bearish is because we need to make things interesting. Right now, the bulls are in full control. They would have to lose 55,000. We would have to see Bitcoin drop another 13% to make the bears end up winning this option expiry. The problem is, though, as long as that option is on the table, don't be surprised if even the long-term bulls, the guys who want to buy Bitcoin, make things interesting. They use this as a grand excuse to continue to watch Bitcoin's price drop a little bit lower. Again, watching on 61, maybe a little bit more towards 60, and maybe even potentially come down and make things extremely interesting, talking about 55K, and then eventually bounce and move to the upside. I'm still extremely bullish, but if you're wondering why on the more macro timelines, like the 4-hour daily chart, we're still moving to the downside, that storyline is going to be one of them. But it's another reason I want to talk to you guys about why Bitcoin could be falling. We addressed this slightly the other day on the show, but Tshroom's going to give us a little more detail, a little more context, and then I'm going to give you my overall opinion on why it's significant and you should take it into heavy consideration, or it's really a nothing burger. And I'll wait. I'll save my opinion here for just a couple of minutes. Tshroom, what is happening in Germany right now, and what are the details with their involvement with Bitcoin?
Ja, Deutschland.
Ja.
Well, they're selling Bitcoin. German government unloads more than $195 million worth of seized Bitcoin. And that's exactly what it sounds like. For a little bit of context here, though, let's look at its scale. So their current stash is estimated to be worth a staggering $3.24 billion. So just over $3 billion is what Germany has. And they've only so as of today, as of this headline, they've only sold just under 200 million, right, which is a fraction of what they have. And then also putting it into context, the U.S. holds 200,000 Bitcoins valued at 13.7 billion, and China just behind it with 190,000 Bitcoins, right, in the ballpark of 13 billion, probably more like 11 billion.
Yeah,
so Tim, something
those
like that. Tim, what is going on here? Is this significant? Because at the end of the day, supply and demand is what affects price, and there's some selling here, but is it enough? Does it matter?
Yeah, so the numbers are varying right now when it comes to Germany. I think in the article you're reading, it references like 160 million, 170 million kind of area. I don't know if you see that on there. I think I saw someone in chat say, hey, it's updated to about 300 million. Listen, guys, I wish that I had $300 million worth of Bitcoin to burn. Trust me, I probably would burn it. I'd give you guys some of it because I love you so much. But that I would love to have that excuse. But let's make sure we understand that the total market cap of Bitcoin is sitting over $1 trillion. It might not quite be to $1 trillion. What's Bitcoin's current market cap at? I want to make sure I say that correctly, and I'm not just pulling stuff out of my. Okay, yeah, it's at 1.2 trillion. I was right. Okay, I was right the first time. Bitcoin is sitting at $1.2 trillion in total market cap. That is not. Let's just think about the numbers here, guys. We're not talking about 1.2 billion. We're talking about 1.2 trillion. 300 million compared to 1.2 trillion, it's not that big of a deal. It's actually a very small fraction. Let me explain to you why I think this article is so popular right now and why people are freaking out about it. Let me remind you, if you have not been in Bitcoin investing for a while, every couple of months, especially during the bear market or the bullish pumps during the early bull market when people weren't too convinced it was bullish just yet, every single time we seem to pick up some form of momentum that the bulls could be back in control, you would see an article get whipped out that America's government was selling off their Bitcoin from the several different places where they've earned it. It always turned out to be a nothing burger. It always turned out to be not anything that actually had long-term effect. But it gets me back to something that you guys need to know heavily about, and that is the word manipulation. There's also this phrase of like, man, if we don't want you to look at our foot, we're going to shake our hands. Don't look at our foot. Look at my hands. Look at my hands. Don't look at the t-shirt right here. Look at my hands. Have we ever, in the history of news, seen this tactic being used? We don't want you to look at something over here, so let's distract you and create a different story. I'm not that big of a believer in this story because this one's getting big hypes too, but we have Germany selling off $300 million worth of Bitcoin, but Michael Saylor just bought $800 million. So that should be net positive, right? The price is going down. Well, that doesn't make sense. If the biggest story is 300 million being sold, but the biggest bullish story is 800 million being bought, why is price still going down? Because neither of those stories are actually short-term significant to the price action of Bitcoin. The real reason why Bitcoin is going down is because more people are selling than buying. The real reason is because it's not time yet for Bitcoin to rally. And as long as there's an opportunity to suppress the price and move it to the downside so that the whales and long-term holders and new institutional buyers can get the discount, they're going to do it. And right now, it is easy as pie to get that price to come down at least to 61,600, possibly down to 55,000. And I'm telling you right now, if you had the power to control the price action, and I told you today, hey, would you rather buy Bitcoin at 64 or 55? You would tell me 55. Guess what? There's a lot of people in this world who have power when they work together to do things like that. They don't have the power to drive price much lower than that, but they do have the price to suppress it at the moment. So the convenience of doing these stories like, guys, Germany's selling, guys, this over here is really happening. It's simply the smoke and mirrors to let you not look at the actual movements of the long-term whales, of the institutional buyers who are trying to buy up as much supply for themselves as possible. It's so that we sit here and bicker and argue about what is Michael Saylor doing and what is Germany doing. In reality, there's such a bigger picture. And I'm telling you right now, the reason they're suppressing price is so they can buy it low, because they know in the next year, Bitcoin's price is going to be astronomically higher than when price currently is at the moment. So that's kind of my take right now. I know a lot of people are freaking out about this, but ultimately, this is a smoke and mirror move. It's another form of manipulation in the market to freak you out. And ultimately, I'll tell you right now, guys, there's thousands of people reading that article saying, uh-oh, people are selling Bitcoin. I better sell mine before I lose all my money. And that's exactly what they want you to do, because they want to buy it at a nice discount. I'm going to kind of leave it at that, guys. That's pretty much what it is. Ultimately, you got to learn to zoom out. You got to learn to turn on your thinking brain, know how these people move, watch what they do, not what they say. The way they say things is through media, but you got to kind of think about what's their playbook, what's their history, how have they moved in the past. That's the things you need to actually watch. And when you think about those things, the future is extremely, extremely bullish. If you have the courage to be a diamond hand holder, to hold on and refuse to fall for the volatility of the news cycle, you're going to be good if you continue to hold that philosophy in your investing brain.
Yeah. And you know, you can start to rationalize why this headline would even be happening. It's like, what is Germany? It's a government. What do governments need to do? Right? Stand up a military and increase the living conditions of their population and keep them safe. Like, they have a budget, and Bitcoin is valuable. So it's more than likely here. And I was talking about this with Crux before we went live. You know, that it's just probably some government bureaucrat in Germany who's like, look, we have all this Bitcoin. Why are we sitting on it? Let's liquidate it so we can buy tires for the new buses. Right. That's probably what's going on here. I doubt there's some kind of sinister, malevolent anti-crypto movement rising here. It's probably just they're trying to liquidate some capital.
Oh, yeah. It is. I mean, I'm saying it is the opposite of an anti-crypto movement. It is a manipulative move to make you think it's an anti-crypto movement, only so that the elites can be bullish on it at lower prices. Very much so. You might have seen me looking around. I've made a colossal mistake here, Tshroom.
What's that?
I have come into the studio and I do not have my drink. So my hydration is dropping very quickly. I can feel the dryness on my tongue and my lips.
Tim,
this could get pretty rough here.
Here's the issue with that. Is that what water does for you is it boosts energy, it helps your skin, it cures aches, it's good for exercise, it helps weight loss, kidney health, better digestion. I take issue with this. Body is 65% water. That is not a benefit of drinking water, because that's just a fact. But overall, you're really tripping, bro. What are you going to do to make sure you don't make this mistake again, Tim?
I probably need to get a tattoo, like right on my inner forearm right here, that says, "Do not forget your water bottle on the show." Listen, that the rest of the show is up in the air. Who knows? It could fall apart as we go. We got over 350 people in here watching. If you guys are enjoying it so far, even take a sip for me. I can't get one, so take a sip for me. Maybe somehow electronically I'll be hydrated through that. Thank you, Tshroom. That's actually really helping. Smash the like button as well. We do want to give a special shout out today to the sponsor of the video here, and it is Arculus. Guys, especially we're having the conversation of manipulation. You want to know one of the best ways to stop yourself from following the manipulation of the markets? Get your money off of exchanges and keep your portfolio in cold wallets where you can protect it and no one can take it from you. And again, a little side bit is because it takes a little more time and energy to get it to somewhere you can sell it. You'll be less likely to be responsive to the markets. You'll be able to make wise decisions. But I'll tell you this right now, save yourself, save your money, use a cold wallet. Truly, you're not really owning your own crypto until you have a cold wallet. As long as your money stays on a centralized exchange, it's really not yours. You're going to want to use Arculus today. And guess what? When you use the link down below and and use the code BROZ10, BROZ10, you get 10% off. It makes a great gift for your portfolio. It makes a great gift for a friend. And when you purchase it, it also supports the channel here at Investing Bros. So go check them out. Shout out to Arculus for sponsoring this video. It's time to get into Solana, Tshroom. And before we get into the charts, we got some excitement going on right now. And I kind of introduced this, but if you're joining a little bit later in the show, I introduced the show talking about, first we had the Bitcoin ETF, and that was a very big deal. Now we're currently working on it, probably days away, like a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. I don't know. A lot of people are saying July 2nd looks interesting. We're probably a week and some change away from the Ethereum ETF going live, but the rumblings have begun for the third crypto ETF, and that is belonging to Solana. Big stuff to happen here. Tshroom, what are the details people need to know?
Well, it's pretty cut and dry. Solana getting an ETF. Solana ETF in the works. 3 IQ files for new ETP in Canada. ETF is just an ETP. There's no shenanigans going on there. Now, but it's in Canada. It's not in the United States. A representative 3IQ said, we have submitted a preliminary prospectus to the Solana Fund, QSOL, in Canada in relation to an initial public offering posted on X yesterday. So, this could be bullish, could be very bullish for Solana. Now, Australia, Canada, even the UK and Germany and Japan, sometimes they'll have a new ETF. They'll beat America to the market with Ethereum or Bitcoin, whatever it is, and it doesn't usually end up moving the price. But this could be different because Solana, up until about 3 months ago, really about a month ago, nobody really took seriously an ETF for anything but Ethereum and Bitcoin. But has that changed, Tim? Could we actually see one in the United States?
There were rumblings. I would say the masses weren't necessarily calling for a third ETF, but there were the rumblings in the weeds, right? So there's a lot of debate. Would XRP be in that conversation? Of course, Solana was thrown in there as well. People had some other ones. Could Chainlink sneak its way in there? All of our Cardano community would say, hey, is Cardano in that as well? I believe there's a lot of ETFs coming for a lot of altcoins. I think the future, though, there might be a couple more individual ETFs filed. I think the real future is probably going to be ETFs that have bags. So it's like not an ETF that's just for Bitcoin or just Ethereum. And I think some of these are actually starting to be filed. You'll be able to purchase an ETF that has a bag of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Chainlink. They'll have other ones. Like maybe you get over here, Polkadot, Caspa, Stacks, XRP. I think there's a couple more individuals coming, but do not be surprised in the next 5 years if we actually have several ETFs that are not individual cryptocurrencies, but they're actually a conglomerate of several of them. And that's probably the wisest thing to do for the long term of crypto. But before we get into more TA, I want to talk about Solana price action. It's been something we've actually talked about more recently, but I want to update people. There's been rumblings, and even in our community, we have people that are very diehard Cardano people. We have people who are diehard Bitcoin, diehard Ethereum, diehard Solana, diehard XRP. You know what? Here's the thing, guys. You know that just because one community can do well doesn't mean the others have to suffer and be terrible. There is a place for a lot of them. We actually had a great conversation, Tshroom, the other day in our members Discord where we were talking about everyone wants to pin, let's say, for example, Solana and Cardano against each other, when in reality, I think that they serve very different audiences. I could see a world very much in the future where both Solana and Cardano are extremely high in their market cap, over $1 trillion per asset, and they're serving completely different communities. And yet those two, especially those two, like to go at each other's throats. And the recent thought that's kind of gone after Solana here, and I think, Tshroom, you have some details on this, but everyone's talking about the end of the meme world. Memes are not doing well. They had their moment in the spotlight where everyone seemed to love them. You guys know our opinion here on the channel. We are not necessarily meme supporters, but the memes have kind of lost the limelight. And a lot of them were built on Solana, which is causing some people to actually go against and say Solana's big run was the early bull market. They're not going to have a very valuable second leg. And to that I say, what the heck? That doesn't even make any sense. Because even though meme coins were a part of Solana's rise, Solana does have a lot more to offer in terms of other partnerships. Tshroom, what are a couple examples of Solana partnerships that are still in existence?
Yeah, well, if you head over to their website, you can see one of the events that they put on. This is from May 8th. They've got some pretty big names in here: Visa, Bybit, Circle, Helium, Fireblocks, and more. Just the fact that Helium migrated over to Solana, I think it was in 2023 or maybe late 22, is significant. But there's some bigger names on there as well. And then you've got all these slew of names here. These were speakers at their event, right? So obviously they have a direct channel of communication You might recognize a lot of these OKX, Magic Labs, Honeyland, Circle, Doro Labs, Drip, Exchange Art, Fireblocks, Electronic Capital, and those are some of the partnerships and some of the speakers, and thus direct lines of communication. But these are also some of the investors here from Alchemy. Alchemy.com, it kind of tracks investment. You can see, first of all, Alchemy Ventures among the list of venture capital firms on Solana. Pantera Capital, which is huge, one of the bigger names in VC. And then A16Z Crypto, Coinbase Ventures, Jump Crypto, which is Jump Capital, I believe, Million Coin Capital, Mechanism Capital. Like these are all just giant names. Solana's not going anywhere. It was here before this unique meme phase that we've had, which has been a boon, definitely a boon to meme investors and traders. I certainly didn't foresee it coming and being as significant as it was earlier this year. But I think that Solana still lives on without this continuation of massive meme euphoria. Not to say that it isn't going to resurface at some point too.
Yeah, and I think you put it there very, very beautifully there, Tshroom.
Thank you.
Solana was pumping before the memes went crazy. Let's talk about this. Everyone thinks that it was doing well because of the memes. No. The memes went to Solana because they saw a good platform to accomplish their mission. In the same way, there's lots of institutional investors who actually really appreciate the speed of Solana. I'm not going to sit here and try to say that Solana is the most decentralized coin in the world because it's not. If you care about decentralization when building your project, Solana is not the right project for you. But let's just go ahead and deal with the elephant in the room. Most people do not care about decentralization. I think that it will grow. I think people will come to appreciate that in the future. But most people care about value, ease of access, and use case. And if that's what you care about, Solana is a good project for you. If you can deal with a couple of outages and different problems, which a lot of people have dealt with, and we haven't heard of one actually here in a while, Solana is the right choice for you. And I think that that's only beginning. Meme coins were just a small faction of who wants to partner and build on Solana. It was just one place. It's going to continue. And of course, as we're discussing right now, if it's true that Solana is on the block for next up on an ETF, now all of a sudden you have even more people who just want to make money. And they say, you know what? Here's another ease of access into the Solana ecosystem. To purchase it, I'm going to buy a nice ETF of it. With that said, let's go over and check out the charts here and see what they are saying. Just like Bitcoin, just like Ethereum, just like everything else that I have been extremely bullish on, it does not mean in the short term that I'm saying that I believe we are only going to the upside. Even this great news, I don't think is going to prevent Solana from at least staying down for about another week. Right now, while we are defending, the bulls are defending a take profit level and a strong order block, there is a very strong bearish pressure right above us up here at 142. We just rejected on it here a couple of days ago in the way of a bearish breaker block. So you're going to continue to see Solana kind of hover. I would not be surprised in the least, though, if we did see Solana. Let's go ahead and turn off this for a second. I wouldn't be surprised in the least if you do see Solana do something that we've seen like in the AI space. Let me show you some AI coins really quickly here. Look at what AI did here. It's a very similar looking move to Solana. Big highs for the bull market. They came down to a certain level of support. In this case, on render, 671. Hit that a second time, had another big rally, and then recently has retested it once again. The same thing happened over here for near, where we're setting up a little bit of a shelf here with multiple touches. And I believe, in reality, Solana could accomplish the exact same thing. What level am I talking about? Probably down here towards 120, 118. I mean, if I couldn't see Solana up here in the top left corner, there's a chance, Tshroom, if you showed me this chart, I might be confused for a second and say, I don't know. If I didn't see price action too, if I couldn't see price action, couldn't see that, and all I saw was price movement, I wouldn't be able to tell if this was the render chart, the near chart, or the Solana chart. The only difference is, again, the reason I know it's Solana is it has not yet had that triple touch. I definitely think that this is something to be aware of. Am I waiting for it, though? Because one of the questions we asked in the title, am I waiting for Solana to get back down here towards 120, 118 to purchase? And my answer is heck no. I might, if I still have dry powder, buy at that level. But with Bitcoin and Ethereum more than likely being close to reversal going to the upside. With the fact that Solana is already currently down from the explosion of this market, it's still down 37% from that high. I still look at these prices right now around 132 as an amazing buy order. What I might do is say, you know what? Let's stick to the 4-hour chart. Let's see what potentially is in the cards. Right now, the 4-hour chart actually showing extreme oversold pressure. Oscillators look like they actually want to start moving to the upside. So when I'm looking at the 4-hour chart, the 4-hour chart's actually making a small case that we really should be looking for a buy right now. Let's see if the hourly chart gives me any type of movement to the downside. Don't be surprised to see it rally up here a little bit, but even the hourly chart is not ready to buy yet, but we're about to pop here on the oscillators. Right now, we have reversals coming into play. If I were to zoom out here a little bit, we have reversals coming into play. We have bullish divergence. We have some momentum in the oscillator strength. The only thing holding us back is negative money flow and this excessive amount of selling that's happening right now. If you guys have been watching me use LuxAlgo, though, this is often a sign that while right now we are bearish, the tides are about to turn. Just the same way, the analogy I love to use about this indicator right here, where you have excessive sellers, imagine you're in a swimming pool and you grab a basketball and you push that basketball below the water, okay? As long as you hold on to that basketball is underwater, you can keep pushing it. You can push it all the way down to the ground, and that basketball will be put down there. That's effectively what's happening when you see this bright red mark come in here where you have excessive sellers. The price is moving down. They're putting in a lot of pressure to keep price down. But as soon as they leave the space, there will be a case. Let me show you, for example, way back here in June, when they left this is hourly chart, though, so June 11th. When they left the space, you saw a catapult in price move to the upside. Let's look at this. It's actually, I'm just going to go down here. Let's see what happened around that time action. You saw the price of Solana go from 147 all the way back up to 162. We're still in a bearish market, but that's my point here is as we see this happening again, the buy trigger has not happened yet, but when you see those excessive sellers leave, when that basketball gets released from underwater, it doesn't just come back to the surface, it explodes to the upside. And we're seeing those things develop here on the 1-hour chart. We're seeing some of those signs develop here on the 4-hour chart. And even the daily chart, I believe there might not be ready to spring just yet, but you can see a sliver of excessive sellers in the space right there. That means, yes, the bullishness is not ready to come, but darn are we close. We're having to get excessive sellers in the space to hold price down. When they leave, we're going to celebrate something very bullish.
Now, Tim, I have to stop you here. I have to stop you because I'm looking at these indicators and I'm thinking, I've tried on TradingView to get the LuxAlgo indicators, but I couldn't figure out how do I get access to LuxAlgo so I can be like you, Tim?
Great question, Tshroom. Thank you for that. Guys, there's a link down below. This is the #1 trading indicator on all of TradingView. It is killing it for all of the members who use it here on the Investing Bros. Here's the cool beans. When you use our link, it's down below, and you have, I think there's a code for it, BROZ, but it's locked in the tweet. So don't purchase unless you see the code. You get 20% off just for using our link. And then it gets even better because if you want to learn even more about trading, I have a VIP trading group that simply by purchasing LuxAlgo and connecting into our Discord, you have access to that group where I'm teaching you not only how to use LuxAlgo, but how to read technical analysis as a whole and how to think about the right places to enter trades and exit trades. When you purchase LuxAlgo, you get into that group. So there's about 147 reasons why, if you haven't purchased it yet, you might as well go ahead and do it right now. Link down in the description.
It's right here in the description. And what I'm noticing too, Tim, is that you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. Because if you don't like it after 30 days, you get your money back. So might as well go ahead and try it out. See if you like it.
Boom, boom. Well, shout out to Wasi. I'm going to probably pronounce this one. It's either Wasi or Wasi. Wow, this last name. Udosian? I don't know. Tshroom, take a stab at that.
Wasi Udesian.
All right, that's better than mine. Welcome to the Bros. Glad to have you here. Now, I will say, we're going to tell you more about this at the end of the stream. While I am so grateful for you guys joining the memberships and the Bros options, that's great. If you guys want to get more access to me and Tshroom, stick around to the end of the show. We have started a new membership program to teach you more hands-on approach to investing and trading. But we'll talk about that at the end of the show. Tshroom, it is time to do our factoid of the day and then get into some Q&A with the good people here on the show. So while we do the factoid, make sure you're smashing the like, B, if you're not subscribed, you're subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any of our content. And C, start dropping some questions, whether about the market, whether it's about current conversations we've been having during the show, or maybe even some altcoins you would love to get some TA on. Drop them right now. Tshroom, what's our factoid today?
Absolutely. Well, the factoid of the day is brought to you by who we love, which is LuxAlgo, truly one of the best trading indicators there is. Tim, on November 4th, 2021, which crypto hit its all-time high of $54.98? Was it A, Polkadot, B, Avalanche, C, Toncoin, or D, Tim, was it Uniswap? Go ahead and put your answers in the chat. Let us know what you think.
Crap.
Come on,
I'm not going to look at the charts. I'm not going to look at the charts. So, Polkadot could have gone. I think Polkadot could have gone that high. I don't remember the exact top, but that's reasonable price there. AVAX, no, AVAX went higher than that, I believe. I have no idea where Toncoin or Uniswap were, but I'm going to go with, I believe. A lot of people in chat are saying D. I'm going to go with A, Polkadot. I have a sneaky suspicion it's Polkadot. Polkadot's top, if it wasn't that number, it was definitely very close.
Tim, you got it. It was Polkadot. Look at that. Dot historical price, all-time high, $54.98. Now, you may see a different all-time high if you look on a different exchange, but this is Polkadot. Also, notably, one of the only coins that has a cool little animation, which is...
It does.
That's just a lot of fun.
Listen, and here's the thing, guys. People are continuing to sleep on Polkadot. I'll tell you this. Is Polkadot going to make you the most money in your portfolio than any other coin? No, I'm not going to lie to you and say that Polkadot's going to 100x from here. But people are sleeping on Polkadot. Just because a coin is not doing the exact same things as the meme market or an AI token or even what Solana's done to this point, you sometimes have to go back not only at the charts and what it's done historically, but remember who the team is. If you don't know anything about Polkadot, we have several videos on the channel giving you what you need to know about it. It is one of the top development teams in the entire cryptocurrency space. If you don't want it, don't buy it. That's completely up to you. I'm never going to tell you guys what you have to own or not own. I can make suggestions. I can tell you what I'm buying. And I'm telling you guys right now, there's a lot of people sleeping on Polkadot who a year and some change from now will probably not be talking very loud when Polkadot's price is up. Just going to say that. With that said, though, it is time to get into some Q&A. Ryan Shoots says, Tim, please lie to me. Well, my lie of the day is that I hate Tshroom and I wish he was never born.
Well, you're not going to get that wish answered, Tim, because I've been working out. I've been perpetuating my strength. And this was my inspirational quote for the bros today on Twitter. I said, quitting, never an option. What do you think about that heavyweight there, Tim?
Listen, that is impressive work right there. As someone who has a history of rotator cuff injuries, I appreciate the humility to say, you know what, it's not about moving big weights. It's about making sure my body moves correctly. I see that movement right there. I can see you're getting some external rotation to the upside. Really great movement for your rotator cuffs. Keep up the good work, Tshroom. And by the way, in case you're wondering, remember I started the conversation saying that was my lie of the day. I love you very much, and I'm very glad you were born. I just want to make sure there's no concern there.
Well, I am very glad that I was born too. Puerto Rico, your home, said, love the intro. So we appreciate that.
Well, then you got to smash the like button for sure.
You've got to.
Matt C says, Tim Warren, at Tim Warren. Pretty sure I have a torn rotator cuff MRI in a week. Yeah, I'll tell you this right now. Does your shoulder hurt while you're externally or internally rotating? You don't need an MRI. It's injured, possibly torn, based off the momentum of it.
You heard that. You heard that in our YouTube chat. That is, but is not medical or financial advice.
Michael, might be a little bit of medical advice.
It's a fusion. It's financial.
It's also financial advice. You could have saved multiple $1,000s. I don't know what your insurance is like, but MRIs are overrated and very expensive.
Michael Okoro said, little is being said about STX stacks. Searching through YouTube, you only find old videos. Tim, what's going on?
Well, we need to make a new video then. If there's a gap in the content creation about stacks, then I was about to say I was going to fill that gap, but that's probably not going to play out well because again, this is a family show and we're going to change the conversation.
Why are you running?
I love Stacks, and I've gone on to say, despite the price being down, this is another one of those projects. Let me find the chart on it. Price is down. I'm not going to lie to you and say that price is at all-time high. What I'm going to say is, okay, let's do this, guys. Let's just go back in the history of Stacks, and you see this extremely bullish price action, a coin that has hit all-time high, just like Bitcoin did during this bull market. Stacks is the #1 layer 2 for Bitcoin, a coin that's going to get a bunch of institutional adoption, but has some scaling issues, meaning it's not very fast, and it's, it can, the different things, it needs speed. It can't transact that quickly. It needs what we call scaling solutions. That's where layer 2s come into effect. Stacks is the #1 scaling solution. There's such heavy demand and such heavy reason to be extremely bullish on Stacks. Up from the bear market, the high, it 18x'd, and we're not even halfway through the bull market at this point. Mm-hmm. Here's the thing that's happening, Tshroom. People who were looking at Stacks price back here probably in January, who missed out on an amazing buying opportunity to buy here around 140 to 160. The price took off without them. It went on to go about a 2 and almost a half X. And you know what happened right here in March? I bet you there was a lot of people saying, oh man, I wish I had bought there at 161. I can't believe I was so dumb and did not buy at 161. Now it's taking off without me. Lord, please, can you just let the price action fall again from $3.88, more than 50%, because this time I won't miss the opportunity. I will buy when it's 57% down back at 161. I promise. Please just let the price go down there, right? That's the prayers of several investors that I actually know back in April of 2024. Well, now the price is down here and everyone's saying, ugh, don't buy Stacks. It's down 57%. I don't want to touch that with a 10-foot pole. Clearly a failing project. Look at the market long term. Guys, we are setting higher highs and higher lows. Thank you for that. Yes. What trend do we call the markets when they're setting higher highs and higher lows?
Well, I'm no Wall Street tycoon, but I would call that a bullish market.
That is called a bullish market. That's called a bull trend. You buy those dips. You buy when there's blood in the streets. And on a project that's as valuable and going to be in such high demand in the next 12 months is down 57%. Tshroom, what do you do when you see down 57%?
You buy the dip, Tim.
You buy the freaking dip.
Now, that doesn't mean that you buy it with 100% of your portfolio. It also doesn't mean that if you've only been in crypto for 3 months that you buy it, right? There's exceptions. If you are brand new to crypto and you don't have any Bitcoin or any Ethereum, Stacks is not right for you, in my opinion. Now, you might find other people who would say, no, go ahead and buy Stacks. You need to buy and hold Bitcoin with money you can very much afford to lose. Feel the emotion of what it's like to hold crypto, especially if you've never even bought stocks, right? Mm-hmm. If you've only had a 401k that was managed externally, do not buy altcoins. Buy Bitcoin and wait. Not financial advice, just awesome advice. Scientific advice, if you ask me.
Yeah. Good stuff here. Hazazi. Great name. Tim, can you please talk about coins that would benefit from Ethereum ETF other than Ethereum? I'll tell you this right now. I think the entire crypto space will benefit from another crypto ETF because it brings more attention to crypto in general. But let's just start off with the easy pick'ems. We'll go with Ethereum-based tokens. I'm not even going to go super deep here. Let's just go with 3 layer 2s on Ethereum. Matic, Optimism, Arbitrum. I think eventually 1 or 2 of those will fall off because I don't know if there's a long-term need for all 3. But in the short term, watch all 3 of those scaling solutions for Ethereum. The same reason why Stacks will be benefited by the uprising of Bitcoin and the heavy use case of Bitcoin. Same thing when Ethereum's price goes up and the use case goes up, which both will happen with the Ethereum ETF going live. Layer 2 solutions to scale the gas fees and even the speed will go up. And again, easy pick'ems right off the bat. Matic, Optimism, Arbitrum. But in reality, almost everything. I mean, you have your interoperability tokens who will benefit from it, like Polkadot, like Cosmos, I think ICP will be in that case. Chainlink is going to be in that case. Like with one crypto doing well, the rest of the crypto space will do well, but especially the ones that are closer to touching the use case of Ethereum, those will do well as well. So that list right there, I start with Matic, Optimism, Arbitrum, throw in there Dot, ICP, Chainlink, and I'm going to be leaving out so many, but those are the ones off the top of my head that I easily could see benefiting.
I'd say the only one that I would disagree there with ICP. I don't see there being a correlation between Ethereum and ICP, because I think ICP has made it pretty clear that it's a competitor to Ethereum. But generally,
I'll put it this way. The reason why it would, when a good show goes on Netflix, is that a net positive or a net negative for Netflix?
Yeah, that's where I would agree. I would agree that just generally, if ETH goes up, people just throw their money at crypto.
Well, again, ICP. We haven't talked about ICP here in a little bit. ICP, Internet Computer, is going to be the connection from the Web3 or the Web 2 world into Web 3. It is the next evolution of the internet. So in the same way, by YouTube going big and Google going big, that's not just beneficial to the company Google and YouTube. It's good for internet companies. It's good for the internet. The use case of the internet goes up. Well, ICP has a very real chance to be the internet, the future next leg of the internet for the Web3 world. So when cryptos and Ethereum do well, in the same way the internet did better, or the same reason why a Netflix does better when a hit show comes to it, ICP will be an added use case and added working because so many people are going to use it based off Ethereum's benefit. That's the link that's there. Someone says, isn't ICP very centralized? The truth is, I don't know how. I'm not going to answer that one because I don't want to give the wrong answer, but I'll go back to, let's just pretend the answer is yes, it's heavily centralized. I'm going to go back to something I said earlier in the show. While I do appreciate decentralization, and I love it in a lot of the coins that I do hold, I'm not going to be an idiot and say there's not money to make in centralized coins. So I'm not conceding that ICP is extremely centralized, but my point is the ones that I do know are centralized, for example, like Solana, I'm not going to try to defend its decentralization. What I'm going to say is I have a bag of Solana. I'm going to make some money. And the same thing with ICP, whether it's centralized or decentralized, it's going to make a lot of money. So I have it in my portfolio. But let me do more research on that.
So I got an answer.
I don't have a thought. You have a thought on that one? The decentralization of it?
Yeah, a good way to quantify it is by node count. And so according to Coin Exams, which actually reached out to us, you may never have heard this website before. I hadn't, but the founder actually reached out to me and had me on his podcast. But ICP, according to Coin Exams, has 612 nodes. So if you compare that to, that's kind of on par with like Dogecoin and Ethereum Classic, which, you know, maybe that's good for you. Maybe that's the amount of decentralization that your DApp needs. You don't need more nodes than that, which is possible. But if you compare it to, you know, Cardano, and they stopped keeping count at 1,000, but if you compare it to like Cardano and like Uniswap chain, like Ethereum, there's just a lot more decentralized.
To be fair, and I think you're right. That's the beginning level of centralization. You need a lot of nodes, but just, you know, like Solana had more than 1,000 nodes, and it's not decentralized. There's a small grouping of nodes that obviously do a lot more than the smaller ones. But Tshroom's right. I mean, there's layers to centralization and decentralization. Starting off, I will go and say, yeah, ICP is centralized. Why? Because it doesn't even have that many nodes. Once it has a lot of nodes, now the question is, okay, what's the split on how many nodes? What are the different nodes doing? Are there a select small group of nodes that are doing the majority of the work? Then that's not a decentralized project. If it's spread out, for example, though, like Cardano is, and with updates that Cardano's doing, it's going to just cement its place as the most decentralized cryptocurrency. You can have positive, negative, or neutral thoughts on Cardano, but here, especially very soon, no one will have an argument against Cardano having the claim of the most decentralized cryptocurrency. It just won't be a debate worth having, because if you have the statement that it's not, then you're just what we call wrong. There's truth and there's wrong. You'd be wrong. Let's go into, we probably have a couple more minutes here. Let's go into more questions here. Anything you saw there?
Well, since we're on it, A and J earlier said, is Solana a long-term hold? My answer would be yes. It has proven itself to be something worth investing in as far as crypto goes.
And here's all. Let me go a little deeper here, especially for people that are newer. What's the definition of long-term? Let me give you a couple different ones. Are we talking about long-term in terms of the next 12 to 15 months? In other words, the bull market? Yes, and 7 more yeses to that answer, right? If you told me, is it a good long-term hold till 2030, so the next 5 years? Yes, but I'm a little less positive about that. Yes, there are things that could be in play that would make it not necessarily as good of a long-term hold. If you ask me about the next 15 years, I'm going to go ahead and say, you know what? I'm not ready to say no, but I do not feel good about yes. I still think as good as Solana is for the next short term in terms of engaging people and people building on it, I think there are still some long-term things that Solana needs to fix. They prioritize speed and getting things out before anyone else, and guess what? That's worked very well for them, at least in the short term. However, and I've seen their team doing this, so I want to give them credit, there are certain things that they built too fast, didn't plug enough holes, and that's what's caused some of their outages and problems. And now they got out to a hot start, but they're having to slow down to fix some of these things. And an effective, what we've seen is if there was like a tortoise versus the hare type of comparison here, Solana is the hare. Solana came out the gate extremely fast, delivering a lot of things that they promised to deliver. But the problem is they got a little sleepy, and they have been sleepy at times. My hope is that they learn their lesson and they wake up from their nap, they fix their problems, and they go on and they continue to win the race. But if they don't, if they continue to just operate the way they currently are and do not fix their problems, just like the story of the tortoise and the hare, they're going to stay asleep, and some tortoise is going to accomplish the same things they do, just in a slower fashion, but do it in a better way, and will end up winning the race, kicking Solana out of a top holding in cryptocurrency. So, like I said, 1 year, absolutely. 5 years, I really think so. 15 years, maybe let's get some things fixed, Solana, and then I'll feel more confident.
Absolutely. Got another good one here from Stephen B. Said, if you had $5K to put into one of these, which would you pick? Render, Near, or ICP?
I would literally split them pretty much evenly between the three.
Okay, if you weren't a seasoned investor, how would you invest?
Yeah.
Just threw a dart.
I'm going to put Render over Near, so that eliminates Near. If I had to choose one, I can already say Render over Near. So the question is ICP over Render. Which one do I think is in play? Render. I haven't done my Render price prediction long-term yet, because there's a lot of things I still need to think about. And I believe it or not, guys, even though I do a lot of stuff, I don't do nothing but thinking about crypto all day long, every single day.
Okay, I'll give you a straight answer. Render.
No, don't give me a straight answer. Wait, I'm thinking. Okay, go ahead. You give me your answer, and then I'll think about it.
Render. I already did.
All right, well, that's a good answer. I know what I think about ICP's potential. I don't know if I have a final answer for Render. And they're both dramatically down right now. That's the other thing, is like they're both at amazing buy spots for the future. I'm telling you right now, don't be surprised if these are neck and neck in terms of the production they produce in the future, the rest of this bull market. You know, Corn Dog makes, I'm going to agree with Corn Dog right here. Great name, first of all. This is a great way of putting it. ICP has more growth, so like let's say higher ceiling, but Render might be the safer pick. Like you know what you have with Render for sure. Their relationship with NVIDIA makes them a borderline safe investment for like a 15 to 20x. ICP is one of those, like, it could decide to just 10x. It also could decide to go 25x and become like a top 5 coin. I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to go with Render. But again, the good news about this question is I don't have to choose one. I can invest in all three. And so therefore I will.
We create our own reality, don't we, Tim?
We do, and we have to.
We don't have to succumb to the reality that those would wish to thrust upon us. Jay Sheldon said, is Curve a good long-term hold? Been battling with buying. Man, Curve. It's definitely still around. It's definitely significant in the DeFi world, in my opinion. From what I've seen, however, I would say it's struggled to remain relevant. And there's a lot of options for good DeFi platforms now. So I would say Curve, probably not bad, but it's also not going to be like fantastic. But there could have been some developments in the last couple months, that I just didn't hear about that have made it much more fantastic.
Last question here. We're going to transition to our outro. Robert Young, very easy question, says, is Link a good long-term hold? We'll do another test. 1 year, 2 months? Yes. 5 years? Yes. 15 years? Yes. If you don't own Link, then that's okay. I mean, you don't have
16 years.
You guys to do whatever. Yes. Listen, guys, I'm not ever going to tell you exactly what to do with your money. I am here to help you think about it. I am here to help give you some bouncing ideas of how to perceive what the future could hold. But I'll tell you, and I've said this before, I'll say it again. Tim Warren, as for me and my household, we will own Link. And we will serve the Lord while we own that Link. Listen, that's a good transition here as we close out. Make sure you guys are smashing the like button if you're enjoying this episode. Make sure you hit subscribe. Don't miss a single piece of content that we put out. But again, we want to continue on our first week of launching this. So many great questions in chat here. People asking us what our thoughts are about coins. Do they think that this position is a good trade? Guess what? We'll do as much as we can in the live shows, but if you want to make sure all of your questions are answered and you want even more access to myself, to Tshroom, and several other extremely wise crypto investors, check out our membership options. You go to my screen here, actually, Tshroom, because that's really cool too, but I actually have showed some price action for them here as well, if you share mine. Well, there we go. Perfect. All right, we have 3 different plans here, guys, but all of these are going to be amazing to help you, whether you want to learn more about investing, whether you want to learn more about trading. Do you want coaching on your portfolio? Do you want to see and have access to why Tshroom and myself make our own moves in our portfolio? All of these things are things that we will help you with when you join our membership today. Make sure to go sign up right now. Also, by the way, you'll see so many benefits. We'll be giving weekly giveaways on almost all of these memberships as well. So not only do you get a great education, you also can win some money along your education as well. Go support the bros today. Big things are coming for the whole community. I'm so excited. With that said, though, that's all we have for you guys on this fine Friday. And you know what? Some other channels, when they tune out on Fridays, they might tell you, you know what? You guys have a good weekend. And I'll say that. You guys need to have a good weekend. But I'm not saying goodbye for the weekend because you guys know we have our Saturday show tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come be here with the fam. Love you guys. Adios.
Trying to make paper, turn that batter to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros. Army pipe, lethal on trade. Entries and exits, worthy of praise. Tim, the professor, the TA. Shout it out loud on the PA. Tshroom's news, catch a word. Doing better than what he deserves. Beamer, leave no evidence. Soon fly coop with his dividend. Trying to make paper, turn that batter to cake. Money like Lego, connect the dots that bank. We are investing bros. We are investing bros.